Hey everyone, this is Robby Cruz. This is Jazz con Clave, Settlement 101. So what is clave? Clave is the core rhythmic component to Latin American music. Clave can be derived from the African American tradition. It comes from the Western and Northern African tradition. Eventually, those people, due to a transatlantic slave trade, were brought over to the Caribbean and America. When the people got to Cuba, after years and years of integration and different cultures mixing, like the native people, the Europeans, along with the Africans, these people eventually developed what we call the son clave, which I'm sure you've heard. This is the son clave. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so you get the idea. So let's focus on the 2 side right now, the easy side. The 2 side goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Easy. But clave, with that by itself, is nothing. Clave needs momentum. Clave is what creates motion, rhythmic motion. Clave is very popular in many styles of music used for dance. All sorts of dance, coming from the African tradition, coming from the Caribbean tradition, coming from South America. All sorts of these people have different styles of dancing associated with the clave. So what creates that motion? It's the 3 side, the 3/4. It comes from the African tradition. So now this 3 side is, I like to call the tresillo. This is also considered the mother of rhythm. And it goes like this. I'll break it up for you. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, once you put that rhythm back to back to back, you get a awesome rhythmic effect and foundation that could also be used in many musical styles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sounds even better when you speed it up. See, that in itself wants to get me up and dancing right now. Another thing that came out of the tresillo is this other beat, this other rhythmic foundation that's very similar to the tresillo, and it's used today in a lot of popular music like reggaeton and other popular Latin American music. It goes like this. We can actually go back to the roots of early European classical music and kind of hear that in the contradanzas. Boom, boom, bing, dum, boom, dum, ding, boom, bing, boom, ding, dum, dum, something silly, but we can't take that from that. But let's go back to the main point, which is the clave, the tresillo. Once we put it together, that is the foundation for the son clave. So let's break it down. The 2 section and the 3 section. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now let's break this up on how the melody and the clave are one and the same. They both complement each other, and it's what creates this style of music. So let's go back to the part that has the most motion in it, which is what the clave insinuates and it helps with. I'll start it slower so that you can hear more of a difference. See? That creates momentum, creates motion. This music requires motion in it. Music that has motion conveys emotion. A lot of people love to dance to this kind of music. So there needs to be a sort of momentum that gets people moving. It transcends the invisible art form of music and is now put into the physical manifestation of dance. And that's what the beautiful thing about this. This music has a universal language that transcends any culture or language. So in jazz, clave became popular during the times of Charlie Parker and Dizzy Gillespie, specifically when musicians like Chano Pozo and Mario Bauza became prominent musical figures in the New York music scene. The clave was especially popular when used to build riffs on top of it. Now, riffs are just small musical ideas. I'll give you an example. And that's just one riff. Riffs would just be built on top of riffs and riffs and riffs. So something that could also be built on top of that, something like this. So imagine you're hearing over and over and over again. And that keeps going. Dun, dun, dun. These rhythms would just be built layer over layer and layer, and we get this culmination of awesome rhythm and melody. Now, the difference between traditional jazz and most musical forms would be that we resolve on the one. In Latin American music, we like to resolve on the four, and this is what kind of creates that. It creates kind of an edge. The momentum it's anticipated. I'll give you an example right now. So this would be, let's go with the first rhythm that we use. And then in the Latin American tradition, so you see, in that time, I didn't wait until the one to bring it back down to the root. I anticipated it by landing on the four. And that goes and coincides with the clave. So the melody and the rhythmic base to this whole thing are one on one. So now, let me give you a musical example of what it would be like to improvise over a clave like this, or just a riff in general. I'm also going to be taking ideas from Louis Armstrong and the vocal effects that he was using in his early recordings in the Hot 5s and 7s. So this is a music example of me playing over a riff with the clave. I'll start off with the riff a little bit so you kind of get an idea of where I'm basing this ideas from. So thank you for watching. I hope you learned a little bit something about clave today, Latin American music, and the American music tradition, otherwise known as jazz. I hope you learned that Clave transcends any cultural and music boundaries, that it speaks to the interconnectedness of we as a people. My name is Robby Cruz. Thank you for watching Settlement 101. We'll see you next time.